What's up, guys? We're here with Kelton Long, part of the Trigger and Reel team, and we've got Steve Vandermolen here as well. Steve is a absolute weapons expert, and he is going to be helping us build really our first AR together. And this is going to be Kelton's build. Actually, he's going to be putting it together to. It's going to be for a truck gun, right?
Yeah, essentially self-defense truck gun that I may run through some of Steve's tactical drills from time to time.
Yeah. So lightweight, fast maneuverability. It's also going to be chambered in 5.56. I'm gonna let Kelton here tell you a little bit about the gun and kind of some of the specific parts that'll be going into it, and then we'll get started with the build.
All right, so step one of the process, we're going to take this Wheeler engineering tool and we're going to true up the front edge of the receiver. Steve, is that correct?
Say that again.
So step one is we're going to take this Wheeler engineering tool and we're going to true the front of the receiver.
Absolutely. The front of the receiver, this is a forging, and so you want to make sure that the front of that ring is flat. So when you mount your barrel, you're mounting flat surface against flat surface. If not, you can get a little different torque, a little bit misalignment. So it's a step. It's a fussy step, but it's worth doing just to make sure that the guns work properly.
Yeah, because this is a machined face on a barrel, correct?
That
So
is
it's
actually
machined.
an extension that's screwed onto the barrel.
Okay.
So the barrel is threaded, and that's the barrel extension. So what we'll do is take a little bit of this
Lapping compound.
and you put a little bit of it on the front here. And I like to do a little bit on the inside because it evens up the inside as well, and uniforms that up. So you just go ahead and stand it up and slip it in there.
You can hear the lapping compound working already.
It's working already. There you go. Now take that, let me clean my hand here a minute. And gravity's your friend. You don't have to press on it a lot. Hear how it's already moving out? Now let's pull it out. See what the face of that looks like.
So obviously the tool comes out much easier than it went in.
Absolutely. And you can see on the face, you're now getting a nice bright ring around there. So we'll do it for about another 30 seconds or so and we'll be done. Got it?
So we got it. We're going to reinsert the tool. So we're going to let DeWalt and gravity do the rest.
And I wouldn't do it much more than that.
So as you can see, we've got a pretty smooth surface there now. We obviously took a little material off, which was exactly the plan, so we'll get this cleaned up.
So now you can see a bright ring all the way around it. The inside of the barrel receiver, or the receiver, is all set now too. And I like to just use a little spray gun cleaner to make sure you get it all off of there. All right, wipe it down one more time.
And obviously we're going to do a pretty extensive clean once we get this thing put together to remove the manufacturing.
The reason we do that first is it's a lot easier to handle that upper receiver when you haven't got all the other parts put on it
So Steve and I were joking earlier, and there's it's unquantifiable how many of these that Steve's helped somebody put together or has put together. So Jeff called him an expert. I don't know if that's certified, but it's
yet. Certifiable, not
Yeah.
certified.
all right.
Okay, now. Generally, they'll come without the forward assist, and they'll come without the ejection port cover. Forward assist is pretty straightforward. It's going to be a lot easier for the two of us to put them on than it is for you to do it by yourself. So, the parts kit. The parts kits are, you can spend anywhere from $20 to $100 on a parts kit, and in my experience on this kind of stuff, save your money.
Put it towards optics and a barrel.
Put it for it and ammunition. To put your money into your barrel. And of course, just a clip on it. Yeah, we're in good shape. They already put the clip on it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little teeny clip on there. And don't knock it off. It's a bear to put on. They make a tool for it, but it's better not to use it. So we'll do the forward assist first. Spring. You can see on the forward assist there's a cutout right here. And that's where the pin drives in and holds that, and then it slides on that pin. So if you put it in that way, and you fold it in, that's where it, you can see right here, where you want the pin. Now there is a trick to this. There's always a trick. If you get a roll pin holder punch, you don't have to hit yourself in the fingers when you're putting the thing on. So what we'll do, we'll get this properly lined up. And then I'm going to have you drive it in. Okay. If they keep slipping out, use just a little bit of grease on the end of that thing. That's it. Now, set in there properly. Doesn't come out. All you're going to do is flatten that, or drive that the rest of the way in. And again,
There's a tool for that.
there's a tool for that. Excuse me.
So part of the reason we're building this gun here at Steve's is one, the experience and years of experience, but also the years and years worth of tools and gadgets that Steve's accumulated over the lifetime.
It's always easiest with the tools. So drive it till it's flush. That's it. A little bit more. Perfect. Top or bottom, either way works. Now comes the fun part, and there is no tool for this. Just a lot of frustration.
Steve's been warning me all day the hardest part of building an AR is putting the
So So this
cover
spring
on.
has to sit against your frame here. And then you have to wrap it all the way around to where it's resting in this notch right here. So if we set this here, and we take the rod, and the clip goes forward, I'll take it to there. And then you've got to get this held here, and wrap that string all the way around while I drive it in. You're
Sure.
letting me do it, aren't you? All right.
I'd hate to rod myself for the first time.
Yeah, I know. And it's so much easier when there are two people doing it. That's it.
Done.
Done. It's a good tight one. So that's, now the barrel nut, when we put the barrel on there, is going to hold it into place. So let's talk about putting the barrel on.
Sure.
Some people like to fuse them. I may want to take it apart at some point in the future.
Steve
So-
knows me pretty well and knows that chances are we're going to be disassembling and reassembling this.
Multiple times in the next couple of years. So some people will put blue Loctite and cover this whole thing with blue Loctite, and then cover the nut with blue Loctite. And I don't do that. I use grease on it. The grease will hold it. It's a good general purpose grease, and it keeps any corrosion from forming in there, and it holds it together just fine. So let me grab it. Just a nice waterproof green grease. If you want to, we'll need the barrel nut out of the box for the front handguard.
So once again, guys, we'll put all the build notes and the list of components in the description below. But I'll show you as much of it as I can that we haven't unboxed already.
And again, you're not doing anything but just getting a thin coat of grease, and then just a little bit of grease on the threads. Another nice thing about the grease on the threads is you're getting a much better torque reading than you would if that, with the finish on there, it can drag on the finish a little bit. All we're going to use is a barrel nut right now. We'll put the handguard on later. Yeah, that's it. I just went smart and hit these all satisfied. All right. So Midwest Industries ships them with the two screws. We'll go ahead and set them right there. Tom. And then there's a positioning bracket that goes with it. And then the barrel nut is inside there.
Hello, and
There we go. No, it is. It's there.
You want
There-
to put these back in?
No, we'll just leave them set right there because we'll be putting this on before we. So there's your barrel nut. This side goes to the receiver. This is what holds it into position. So we take the upper receiver. It's got an alignment notch. These are much nicer than I did the first time. It's much nicer to use a free float handguard than the old D-ring handguard or barrel nuts, because these you can torque without having to line up the holes to get the gas tube through. The old D-rings had that serrated thing. That's why the torque specs are 35 pounds to 85 pounds. Sometimes you needed that to get it lined up. So I like to start at 35, and then we'll retorque it after we get everything together just to see where it is. Probably take it up to 40 or 50, and we'll be good there. Another nice tool, Brownells. This actually latches onto the bolt lugs in the barrel. This is pretty light aluminum, and it's pretty thin, and you don't want to break it. So by doing that, you are torquing against those.
A steel
Bolt
surface.
lugs. So we'll just take it to 35 pounds. Got it?
Steve's preset to 35 pounds here. So
35 pounds. That's minimum torque value. If you can get away with it, I'd use it. If you ever have to take the barrel off later and you got it torqued to 85 pounds, it becomes a bear to get it apart. And again, if you're bearing against those locking lugs on the barrel, the bolt locking lugs. All right, so that's all done. Next step is going to be the gas tube. The alignment pin on the barrel and the gas vent in the barrel are always lined up. And you can see the gas tube has a through hole and it has a vent hole, and the vent hole goes down. Don't get it upside down, you get nothing. So once you get your 180, and again, this is another one of those fun things to do, where you've got a very small roll pin. Let's see if it'll fit in that one.
yes.
Okay. So what we'll do is there's our vent. That's down toward the barrel. There's the hole we want to drive the pin through. And a good way to start it, another thing you need on your gunsmithing bench is an ice pick. So go ahead and put the, you remember ice picks, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, what that does. Now I've got it locked in there. I can't turn this, so I know that hole is lined up. So then I can take it here, pull it down a little bit, and you can just drive me right up. As you're driving it in, you're driving the ice pick up the other side. Now, use this same one and seat it flush. Perfect. All right, so we've got them all snugged. We've got everything checked again for alignment. Torque goes to 30 inch-pounds, but don't do it to 30 right away. 10, yeah, walk it up 10 inch-pounds at a time. So. Every screw on these guns I Loctite, because they're just going to come off if you don't.
With the exception of the barrel nut, huh?
With the exception of the barrel nut. And I'll show you why the barrel nut is not as critical on this. With this Midwest Industries handguard, it actually locks the barrel nut to the upper receiver.
So we walked it up 10, 20, and now we're doing 30
Mm-hmm.
inch-pounds on all 3 of the gas block screws.
And that should hold it together wonderfully. Now, next step is we're going to put the front handguard on it. So the ring is here. There's a notch in here. This piece is going to sit in here like this,
So I slide it up over.
and this just slides over. And you'll see it locks that pin in, and it lines up pretty good, but it's easy to get. You don't want that little bit of play in there to do anything. So again, my secret is let's just lock the two of them together. This is an old AR scope mount, but it works perfect for this.
It's been repurposed as an alignment tool.
It is now an alignment tool. Now you can see the handguard and the upper receiver are aligned properly, and that can stay there while we assemble the rest of it. And it's tight here, so everything it needs.
So as you can see, there's no gap there. There's no gap there. Our pin's locked in, and it's perfectly aligned front to back.
When they're not aligned, the front sight will tell you that it's not aligned properly, because it'll be off to an angle on one side or the other.
Are
And
these-
again,
Are these tools?
yeah, we'll torque those to about 25. Good handguards. I love these handguards. And they've got your side. And again, Loctite on them. One of the guys I've taken classes from actually uses a little bit of nail polish or paint and puts an index mark on all of the screws, so he knows that he will be back up. I haven't done that. Probably wouldn't hurt.
He might have made a living with his for a little while.
If he made a living with his for a while, he probably learned it the hard way. And I understand that.
So just snugging those up with the screwdriver, and we're going to switch over to the Wheeler Industries fat wrench. I'm going to start at about 15 inch-pounds and torque both of these down in sequence. All the way up to
I get 25.
25.
Because it's aluminum, I like it. The other was steel against steel. Anytime I got aluminum, I like to hold them 25, 20. Especially with the Loctite. Perfect.
I'm going to remove our alignment tool.
Just need a screwdriver there a minute. You got it? Now, it's a pretty good upper receiver. And again, I like the handguard that goes just, this is a mid-length gas system on this thing, which is really going to be nice with this light barrel because it'll slow that bolt down a little bit. So everything's there now, except the flash hider. And we go back to our trusty torque device. So the crush washer goes on first. And then you screw the flash hider on. This is a Wilson Combat compensator actually. It does, I just like Wilson stuff. And you can see, you want that center hole, which is that one, we're a little bit past it. So we're going to have to take it all the way around until it lines up with that. Then we'll be where we want to be. A little bit more.
Yeah, just do it. 5 degrees.
How's that feel? Lined up with the lettering. Looks good to me.
Once again, proper tools and proper know-how make these things much easier to assemble. So this is one of those items you can get from Brownell that's probably worth every dime.
And there, sir, is a completed upper receiver. My favorite thing about that upper receiver is it's really light.
Yeah, we'll get the weights and specs on all the equipment. Like I said, there it is, completed upper receiver. So we're going to run through the components that we use for the upper and approximate cost. So the upper receiver,
Upper receiver was $60. The upper receiver parts kit was $14. The compensator was $60. The sights, which we'll see later, will show that. But bolt carrier group, we actually got a good deal on that on sale for $140. The fax and barrel was $216, and the Midwest Industries lightweight handguard is $163. And so that's a really good price on that.
it's
And
also
the match grade barrel, even though it's pencil weight.
60, 75.
Our math's not that good.
I have a degree in finance, not adding numbers real quick.
Roughly like what? It sounded like roughly less than $600.
For sure.
Less than
We'll put the
$600.
exact figures on the page.
Yeah.